y'all. Welcome to the Never Settle podcast. He is 7-time NASCAR Cup Series champion Jimmie Johnson, a first ballot NASCAR Hall of Famer. I'm Marty Smith from ESPN. We appreciate you guys joining us. We're here at the Wyndham Championship in Greensboro, North Carolina. Johnson just shot 124 in the Pro-Am.
There were a few good shots in
You
there.
did have some damn good shots while I was watching, and we are so stoked to kick it off today with Jackson Koivun, the #1 amateur on the planet Earth, back-to-back SEC individual champion out of the Plains in Auburn, Alabama, and a national champion to boot. Not bad to start there, young man. We appreciate you. It's so nice to meet you. First of all, and thank you for giving us a few minutes before you go face the media gauntlet. Already earned his tour card, Johnson.
It's incredible.
Already has it. So let's just start with the individual side at Auburn. Nobody has gone back-to-back as an SEC champion individually since '76 until this guy did it this year. Walk us through, obviously it's team golf, but when you're out there and you're playing and you know you have the opportunity individually, walk us through that mindset between playing for yourself and playing for your guys all at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because, like you said, golf's an individual sport, but I'm just trying to go out there and play the best I can for the team and play the best I can for Auburn, and I know if I go out there and play well, we're going to have a better chance at the team tournament. And, last year everything kind of fell into place for me and was able to walk away with the win, but just trying to get the team to as best as we can. And
didn't you win by 6 strokes?
That was my freshman year.
Freshman year.
Yeah.
Where do you think you are in your journey of golf? I mean, you're a young man, tour card, all these different elements. I'm just thinking through myself and my journey. I mean, it was deep into my career before I had this inner confidence around what I thought I could do and what I was capable of. Do you have any sense of that now or know where you are on this journey?
I've been fortunate enough to have a couple opportunities out here now and kind of learning the ropes, and there's just so much to learn and grow from. I've been fortunate enough to get to know some of these guys and taking in everything I can. So much of this game is played between your ears, and if I can just keep getting better at that, I'm going to hopefully be pretty successful.
Definitely.
I remember Rory telling me, this was like 2016, a long time ago. We were down in Florida together, and I asked him the toughest course he'd ever played, and he said the toughest course in the world is the 6 inches between your ears. And it's so true. This sport is so mentally exhausting, and I wonder what it's like when you're in a major championship at the U.S. Open, at the hardest golf course on the planet, no less. What was that experience like, specifically on Thursday, getting started?
Yeah, I mean, that golf course was tough.
Hard.
It was a lot of fun. I knew it was going to be tough and just didn't quite have my stuff that week, but just trying to – I think I missed the cut by 1. But Thursday was great. Really scrambled around, played well, and put myself in a good spot after Thursday and kind of didn't have my stuff on Friday. But just taking in that experience and playing at a golf course like Oakmont, they want it to play so hard, and they want guys to suffer. And it's kind of once you can realize that and recognize that, you gotta beat the golf course with your head. That it gets a touch easier, but it's still pretty hard.
Johnson, having watched Jackson play a little bit, he's a fiery competitor. You are. I mean, you show your emotion. How are you growing in that capacity? I remember talking to Brooks Koepka. This was before the 22 PGA, I think, and I did this feature on him for ESPN, and he was talking about how when he was at Florida State, he was fiery as hell, super fiery. And it got to the point where his coach made him start running the steps at Doak Campbell Stadium, the football stadium at Florida State, if he hit his bag with a club or threw a club or lost his emotions, and how far he's come and learned to use that as fuel now.
Yeah, for sure. I think momentum is something you can definitely grow from. Some guys do better playing angry, some guys don't. It's definitely something I've been working on for the past couple of years. Personally, I believe that you need a little fire to keep you going, but momentum works in both ways, just going up and down. And when you can realize when you're on that downward spiral, if you can try to level out your emotions, that's great. But if you're rolling, you want to keep that fire going. So I think playing with momentum is definitely, playing with that fire is very, very helpful.
Very mature POV on that. When did you pick up a club? Like, how old did you start? Super young?
Oh, yeah. My dad kind of handed me some plastic clubs when I was about 2 or 3 when I could start walking. And I played a couple different sports growing up, but end of the day, kind of stuck with golf when I was middle school and just kind of took off from there, and it's led to some great opportunities.
Amazing.
What kind of practice is involved for people that don't know? When you're young and you realize, okay, I'm going to focus on this is going to be my passion and my purpose. How much did you practice coming up?
Oh, I practice all the time as much as I could. I'd go to golf course right after school, still in my school clothes, and just start hitting golf balls. And I think it just kind of grows from trying to perfect this game that's impossible to perfect.
Fact.
But it's just kind of not stalling out and realizing that if it's something you want to do, like any other great athlete, they work so hard at their sports, and it's just who can outwork each other and then who can be smarter about it.
Has the college environment been easier to chase your passion as a golf player, or more challenging with education and elements that college provides?
No, I think it's been easier for me. I've been able to kind of keep a steady head and keep looking at the goals in front of me, and they have everything you need there at any great college. They've got it. You can practice for 24 hours if you wanted to.
Wow.
And sometimes it's almost a problem. They're like just wasting time, but it's just trying to keep it steady and just working on not wasting time and focusing your time on the right things.
Jackson, who were some of the guys that you modeled your game after coming up?
There's a lot of really good players when I was pretty young.
He's 20.
Right? Perspective.
He's 20 now.
No, I loved watching guys like JT and Jordan, Ricky, all those guys coming up, and I've been fortunate enough to meet some of them now, so they're all great. But yeah, just watching some of the competitiveness growing up, it kind of inspired me to keep going in this game.
Have you had a mentor along the way that stands out more than anyone else?
Probably just my swing coach.
Yeah.
I've had the same guy for about 7 years, Fred Garcia, back in California, and it's been a little tough since I moved, but we still FaceTime, and I trust him with everything. So he's been helpful with my golf swing for sure, but he's really helped me mature on the golf course and understand the game a little better.
When you've played tour events, it's so funny to talk to even tour stars now about the first time they played with Tiger and how they spent 9 holes watching Tiger play golf, not playing golf themselves, being distracted by, holy crap, I'm sitting here playing with the GOAT. Is there anybody in these tour stops that you participated in where you've sort of found yourself in that position where you're watching somebody else rather than focusing on yourself?
Maybe a little bit. I had a fun little practice round group with Justin Thomas and Jordan Spieth at the Open, and that was really cool, but try to keep a level head and learn the golf course. But, there's just a lot of names. So you kind of turn your head when you're walking around here. It's like, oh, there's like Adam Scott. I mean, he's been great forever, and guys like that are just – it's cool to be able to compete against them now.
If you're playing a practice round with JT and Jordan, especially if they were heroes of yours a bit coming up, what are you asking them? What conversations are you having?
Honestly, just trying to get to know them, off the golf course stuff, on the golf course stuff. Maybe ask for advice here and there, kind of see what they do so well in the practice rounds, because that's so important before a tournament, just kind of learning as much as you can about the golf course, where to practice from, all that type of stuff. Little tips and advice here and there, not just on the golf course, about how to handle yourself, what to do when you turn pro, all that stuff's just so important to learn.
Got a 2-part question for you. Are you an athlete that remembers the ones that got away? And if so, at 20, what match would you want back? What putt would you want back?
Yeah, I've got one. I wouldn't say it got away because I felt like I hit the shot I needed, but National Championship freshman year, I came runner-up. I'm sitting on 18 fairway, and I need a birdie to force a playoff. I hit this pitching wedge, and I just stripe it, bangs off the flagstick, bounces back into the bunker.
Oh.
Then I almost made the bunker shot, made par, finished second. But if that goes in, I win outright. If it doesn't go in, I mean, it hits pretty low on the flagstick, and I've got maybe 6 feet for birdie to tie for the National Championship. But that's kind of one that still kind of stings, but it just fueled the fire.
Why was it right for you to go back to Auburn?
I think college golf's just in such a good spot right now. I think there's still a couple little things here and there I can learn before I can truly come out here and compete week in and week out. I know I have the physical side of it, but the mental side, I mean, I'm still 20 years old and still have a little bit of maturing to do, so I think 1 or 2 more years is definitely going to be helpful.
Isn't it crazy to think about the fact that Jordan Spieth won the Masters tournament 1 year older than he is?
Man, I forgot all about that. Incredible.
I mean, it really is. But it shows you – now, granted, he was injured. Jordan had this wrist thing that really bothered him the last several years. But you consider how hard this sport is, and it all goes back to the mental side. Talking to Smiley Kaufman, I was playing with him recently, and he shot like 64. And I'm like, why the hell did you leave the tour? He's great on TV. But why did you leave the tour? And he just did this. Because it's so mentally exhausting to be great and to stay great.
Right.
Hard.
How are your parents involved with the sport? You said your dad got you into it at a young age. Are they involved in different layers, or just there and around and cheering you on?
Yeah, I mean they're around, they're cheering me on. They've always been great to me. I'm an only child, so that's been pretty helpful in this game that requires a lot of attention and travel. My dad plays casually. That's kind of how I got into it. And yeah, they're great. Very lucky to have them as parents, and they've done everything they can to get me to where I am.
They walk the courses, and you see them around all the time?
Yeah, they might be around here today, but they'll definitely be out for the tournament rounds.
That's cool.
What do your dreams look like?
I want to try to get to be the number one player in the world, but just every year, hopefully that I'm out here, I just want to keep getting a little better and better, and just keep growing and see just how good I can get.
It's always such an interesting thing when someone is like a prodigy, right? You look at guys like Bryce Harper or LeBron James, or those guys that actually fulfill that promise. Tiger, those guys. It's such a unique thing because, I mean, when you are a champion at 18 and then you follow it up at 19 and you're going to be on the Walker Cup team, all these things that are dream achievements, you're just checking them off the list.
Right.
And so to be able to maintain that through time is such a challenging passion. And we certainly wish you the best in that. We got to let you go because you got to go talk to the media. But thank you for your time, man.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Best of luck. Appreciate you.
Appreciate
you. I just can't imagine having that kind of talent that young and to be able to harness that kind of talent. Because even if you think about your career, right, obviously you had unbelievable talent. It takes people believing in you and giving you opportunity. But golf is just such a different.
It is, and there's many layers to it that I was thinking about. I came into NASCAR at 26, and I was so thankful I came in later, and I had some maturity behind me. And to hear him discuss why he wants to stick around and play college golf for a couple more years, that's just wise beyond his years. And the pressure that prodigies have, which I was not one. I kind of built my own headspace around outworking people, and I was going to peak later in life and all these other things. And so to see someone be able to manage that, as you mentioned, the greats that have been able to fight through it, certainly hope Jackson is that guy and can do that as well.
I would consider Gordon one.
Yeah, without a doubt.
He was one, and he was able to manifest all of that, and you had the opportunity to learn firsthand from him. What were some of those initial pieces of advice that he gave you from his journey I think, wasn't Jeff in Cup at 20? Mike Brown joining us, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, the president and CEO of Travel+Leisure. He's the host of the Wyndham Championship.
Great to be here.
And a great golf partner today, Kerry Johnson. But before we dive into Mike's path and career and journey, what were some of those things that he told you initially, right when you started?
The thing that's I remember the most was how important he focused on elements away from the track and the foundation that his element to blow off steam, the way he approached the race weekend, all the stuff away from the car. And at one point I asked him, I'm like, well, what do you do in the car? He's like, well, I just get in there and go. But his systems, the way that he worked and interact with sponsors, there are all these layers that were put in place that helped him manage his time to where he had free time and could be a kid and be himself, especially in those younger years. I had this conversation on the course today with Victor Perez. There's so much focus on athlete in the game and in that moment, but that's a fraction of the time you spend in a day or a week. The rest of life is where that, I believe, and Victor agreed with this as well, that's really where the work is done. And we think we can compartmentalize things, and that's work, this is personal life. Not so much, at least in my experience. Personal life and life away from the sport gave me my foundation and security to be who I was in the race car.
Well, this guy's been really important to your race team.
Without a doubt.
A great partner to Legacy Motor Club. And I just want to start with, how would you rate Johnson's performance today in the Wyndham Championship Pro-Am?
Well, I think I first like to express my appreciation for having their colors black on a day that it's 95 degrees with 100
It is
degrees.
hot as hell out here.
But I'll tell you, that Legacy team was strong out there today when we needed a drive and Jimmie didn't get it. Eric Jones stepped up and delivered one. So we had a great day out there. Shamble golf, so your golf only mattered 1/3 of the time, and we had a good time today. And Jimmie more than carried his weight.
I saw some golf shots out there from
couple.
all you guys.
Yeah.
His game got really sharp when you showed up.
Well, I mean, I handed him cold beer. All Johnson needs is a little swing lube, and it's all.
Don't we all?
So in your job, I was reading about you and thinking about the volume of what's on your plate every day. I can't imagine it. I'm not wired that way. That's not my personality. What are the most important aspects of someone who is a president and CEO of a company, an organization that has all of that breadth and all of that depth? It must be overwhelming at times.
It's overwhelming every day.
Yeah.
We have 19,000 associates. We have 280 resorts around the world, South Pacific, Europe, United States, South America. But I think most importantly for me, and my background is I'm a finance guy, I'm an analytical, I'm everything. I live life through an Excel spreadsheet, which I say that only to say that the most important thing are the people that are around me. It is the people who work for you, the people who work with you. It's only possible if you have the right people that fit you well. There's a lot of great people that don't fit your company's culture, but they shouldn't be with your company because they're not with your culture. So we've developed an incredibly transparent and cohesive culture with great people, and combine those two, the equal sign is a lot of success. So I think I'm just lucky to be around great people.
The culture piece I'm interested in, and of course now as a business owner, understand and can see and understand how we need to create our own. I always worked for someone else and came into a culture and it fit with me, but from a creation standpoint, like what are those big hurdles to clear, and how do you find that executing and developing a culture, what are the steps that are most successful in that?
I don't think that is a mathematical equation, and the reality is the culture of an organization often follows the people that are leading the organization. And it's very tough to create a culture that you don't authentically believe in yourself. And there's a few culture pieces that we truly believe in around being authentic, being super transparent with people, involvement. We don't get it right. We get it right most of the time, but people that don't fit into that culture will naturally say that to you and decide to leave, and vice versa. When you're looking for those people, a lot of our interviews at our levels are about do we fit well together, because your technical skills are table stakes. So you need to really know who you are and be committed to it, and then surround yourself with people that think the same way. Every competitive set, I imagine every race team has a different culture.
Without a doubt.
Not one right or wrong, but you got to have one, and you got to be all in for that culture. And so far what we're doing is doing really well, and it's fun along the way, just like our 18 holes today.
Culture's hard. Jimmie's, for the last couple of years, tried very hard to take multiple cultures that through acquisitions and mergers and unions of racing organizations were three that are melding into one. And he's done a brilliant job at that in creating one that is Legacy Motor Club. What's that challenge for you? I mean, mergers, acquisitions, you guys have been in those situations. You're taking a couple companies that you're creating into this one company. What is that challenge? It
goes even further than that. I've spent 30 years in hospitality, and I was with Marriott, Hilton. We moved to Club Wyndham and became Travel+Leisure, where we've done a lot of acquisitions, started Sports Illustrated Resorts. We're with Margaritaville, Accor Vacation Club, and our core brand, which is why we're here at Club Wyndham. And so I've had to take my personal history coming from multiple cultures and then come into a highly successful company like Wyndham and try to take the best of me and the best of the company and take it up one different bar. To me, the integration becomes successful when you're open to the integration. one of the big things I did early on was I replaced a highly successful CEO, but I didn't do what everyone did, which is clear out his staff and bring in my own. I brought the best of their cultures. They all stayed because they're successful. Why do I need to go draft another set of players?
Right.
They're already successful, and I never understand that about the NFL either, is just because you didn't draft a successful quarterback, why do you need to change him? We had successful people, so I integrated with them and they integrated with me, and I think 1 + 1 is 3.
But, Mike, that says a lot about you. That says that you have tremendous self-confidence as a leader. Self-confidence
Hard to find.
and humility walk hand in hand. Arrogance and insecurity walk hand in hand. And a lot of times, those staff clearances are born from insecurity.
Yeah,
I want
yeah.
to bring in people that know me and will do what I say, not challenge me if I have an idea and maybe it's done a different way before. Maybe they can say something culturally that makes you go, oh, okay, that makes sense.
I definitely think that's the easy way, but there's a lot of things in life we do. Moving to London, we've done similar living overseas. Putting yourself in uncomfortable situations usually rapidly accelerates growth, knowledge, and learning, and candidly, getting to a place where you're enjoying life more. At 26, when I moved to London and sat around the table with 11 different political points of view, 13 different languages, and here I am, middle-class white American, and totally uncomfortable, I wouldn't change that experience for the world. And learning from other people in the corporate environment who know a lot more or come from a different perspective, at this stage and at this level, that's what makes it fun. Hitting your numbers does too, by the way. But getting from others and giving to others is very meaningful. And I think that's why we love legacy and being around. When Richard Petty Motorsports was there, is you just want to be around good people that you can play golf with and not have preconceived notions about how you got to behave and act. Because CEOs do like to get on the golf course and be relaxed.
Definitely. I'm wondering your personal life and your professional life and how you balance them. Beautiful family, amazing wife, your children are highly successful and chasing ambitions. Like how have you been able to manage a very complex dynamic?
Yeah, I mean, at times fantastically, at times horrifically. You're right, a beautiful and lovely wife that really raised the kids right. Stern at the right times, but let them chase their dreams. And I've learned from her, and I've learned from my kids because they've chased their dreams, not mine. And I've enjoyed watching them chase their path because I feel like I'm also learning a brand new path that I didn't have before. I went to Virginia. I think we talked about it earlier, and they're both at Michigan. And originally, it's like, you know what? This is better for me because of where they are. And I think for me, it's when this job is over, 3 days later, there'll be someone sitting in the seat. No one will remember I'm here or wherever here, unless you do things along the way and spend time where you need to on the things that really matter. CEOs and bottom lines, they really matter. That's our job, but it's not what matters in the broader scheme. And trying to find that balance, fail many, many times, but try to get it right on occasion. And that's, I don't know, for me, the way to try to balance the two.
It's solid.
Love that perspective. It's a beautiful perspective. It's so hard for Uber-driven, successful people to find that balance, and we all want to. Yeah. Everybody wants to, but it's the most challenging thing in my life.
Yeah. So on the course today, Tony Finau, front nine, or we played with him on the back nine. And then, he spent an entire hole just talking about what he's doing for kids in Salt Lake City. And then we know what Eric's doing with kids and know what you're doing. Us at Travel+Leisure, we're very dedicated to communities and growing literacy and education. And it's interesting, these Uber-driven people, when you catch them at the right moment, you can see what their passion really is. And it's about doing something for other people. The TV and the media will tell you what corporations and CEOs are all about. If you spend a few hours on the golf course with them, you'll find out where people's passion, and same with, like I said, Tony, Legacy Motor
lit
Club.
Up today as that conversation started. That was really cool.
Yeah.
He's one of the greatest men I've ever met. He's someone from whom I've learned tremendously because he does have that balance. He is the best father, the best husband. He's so kind to everyone in his path, and he impacts so many lives as a result. He uses his platform as a world-class player to impact so many people, and I'm just grateful that he's in my life. Obviously, we're called Never Settle, Mike. What was a moment in your journey where you could have settled, but you chose not to settle, that was ultimately incredibly important in that journey?
I'll keep it professional on this answer. Is when I was 30, around 30, I just come back from London after 4 years. My wife and I had resettled in the United States. We were about to get married, and I got a job offer to go to Paris. And decided I was going to go back and get my MBA because that's what I was supposed to do, right? And I was a finance guy, a corporate guy, always could define what things should be. And someone said to me, until you own your own P&L, you're really never going to make it in business. And that was my chance to go own my own project, own my own P&L. And to this day was the hardest job I've ever had. 4 years in Paris, stressed every day, lost my hairline quite a bit. And when I say to people today, that job, that 4 years in Paris, owning my first P&L and learning failure every day until success came, I didn't settle. My job today is difficult and stressful, and everything you said, Marty, is all true, but it doesn't compare to my first learning of what real failure was until you found a way for success to come your way.
Sure. Now, in that never settle mindset, I've tried to retire 3 times now, and I've not been able to pull it off. Do you ever see yourself slowing down?
I do. I have zero desire to put my head on the desk and call it a day. That to be my last breath. That doesn't interest me at all.
Sure.
You know, for me, value is learning and providing value. So at some point, you know, there's a lot to life, and I want to enjoy seeing my kids, you know, eventually graduate college, get married, maybe if that's what they want to do, live where they want to live and chase their dreams. And I want to travel the world with my wife.
I see you guys traveling a ton.
Yeah.
You have that spark in your eye around travel.
Well, and not only, you know, it's not just because I'm with Travel+Leisure, but, you know, my wife is from Spain, and I feel at home when we go to Spain as I do in the U.S. And that's just from years of being a little bit uncomfortable. The great thing is we have the grandparents across the board have grandchildren, so wherever I show up, I'm not center stage. I get to go.
Nice.
I get to go run along the Med. I get to go eat some good grilled seafood and enjoy life. So yeah, I don't plan on dying at my desk. That's for sure.
What piece of advice were you given that you carry with you, and who gave it to you?
I don't remember the college. It was my marketing professor at University of Virginia, my 3rd year there. He said to me, Mike, in your 20s, try everything professionally. In your 30s, decide what you want to do, and in your 40s, be the best at what you've decided to be. And I'm 55 now, so I don't know I'm lost now in my 50s. He didn't tell me what to do there. But my big takeaway from there, and I always advise students getting out of college, is take a risk. In your 20s, learn as much as you can, try new path, cut your own path, don't settle for what people tell you should do. And you're going to fail along the way, but you're also probably going to have experiences that no one else has. And that's why I was at that table in London at 26 with people from all political persuasions and nationalities, and I wouldn't change it for the world. So I'd say that, and I'd remind 22-year-old graduates, your first job isn't your last job. Just learn from it and decide where your future needs to be.
Thank goodness.
I was just thinking about your son, and we were chatting earlier on the golf course around his journey in swimming.
Yeah.
Watching your children succeed and chase their dreams, and there is a scenario where you might be able to go to the Olympics and watch your son swim. How does that even compare? Like, how do you think about that? How do you process that?
I'm amazed every day at what my children do, because I think their mindset is a lot broader than mine was growing up. You know, growing up in the 80s, graduating high school in the 80s and college in the 90s. I find their mindset to be a lot more broader than mine and willing to try things and you know, my eldest son's about as nice as you're ever going to find, but he's got a drive that when the moment's there, he's there. And so I'm enjoying his journey. It doesn't matter what the end result is,
Right.
but his journey and watching, he set goals all along the way that every time I'm like, what is he doing? And that drive and putting a goal has led him to where he is today, to be a superb athlete in college. But my other son's no different. You know, at the end of his freshman year, he got ready to go back to school, and we were just chatting, and he goes, yeah, I just finished writing my book. We're like, when did you do that? All summer. And we're up here at the Wyndham Championship, and he's doing an art exhibition.
Incredible.
Oh, and by the way, he in high school was like, I think, second in the state in cycling. So it's like just there, it's again the pursuit, not the accolade, that I enjoy. And I don't care what they do, because I'm not good at cycling, riding, art, or swimming. None of that. But I enjoy all of that more than trying to pump up my high school days where I thought I was better than I really was.
Sure.
That's just such great leadership perspective too, because if you can have joy in the journey, whatever the journey is, and not be focused on outcome, if you can just focus on process and the joy of the journey, then you're going to have joy in the outcome versus anxiety on the way and relief in the outcome.
Yeah.
And it's just so much more pure if you can find joy in the journey that way. And it sounds like they are.
They absolutely are. And I think it's actually the same at Travel+Leisure today, because we're trying something completely different. We just announced our first Sports Illustrated resort in Nashville, Tennessee. We're doing Sports Illustrated resort in Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Roll Tide.
We don't know where that's going. And I know your last guest was from Auburn, so we might need to get across to Auburn or maybe to Baton Rouge or Knoxville and Athens. You know, the SEC's where it's at these days.
What's the goal with the Sports Illustrated Resort?
Look, our perspective, we're sitting here in Margaritaville, the booth or the tent, which will be packed all week. Margaritaville wasn't a hospitality brand 10 years ago. It was a song and a man and a drink. And people today, it's my firm belief that hospitality is moving where people want to match their lifestyle, their personal lifestyle, to hospitality. And now Margaritaville has almost 36 hotels in the U.S. They're expanding internationally. We have a bunch of resorts. So the goal, to get to the point, is to attach the passion of college sports and sports in general to hospitality. So I think Sports Illustrated has 42 maybe. University of Alabama covers the most in any college. Imagine showing up for a college football game, SEC game, check into your Sports Illustrated. You got a Hall of Fame. You've got all those. You got athletes from the school coming over. You are immersed in the University of Alabama, or in Nashville, Vanderbilt University, Brandt Snedeker.
He's right there.
Brandt
He'll join
Snedeker,
us next.
yeah. So hopefully he'll support us there. But that's the goal. Is we want to attach lifestyle to hospitality, and Sports Illustrated, it's an iconic sports brand, and that's where we're going to take it next.
Got time for one more, Johnson?
The journey that Travel+Leisure is on, and your commitment to sports. What is really a commitment to Legacy Motor Club, and obviously the Petties before that? You just mentioned the hospitality piece. Do you think that there's been a moment for hospitality in sports all along, or is that something that we're just now discovering?
Well, let me ask you all a question. When do you go to a college town and do anything in hospitality other than, I can't believe how much I'm paying for this tiny room that I don't really enjoy? Right. And look, there's brands that are finally finding that space. I could give you 3 right now, and we're going to be one of them. So yes, I think it was always there, but I think people settled for what hospitality was. It was traditional names with loyalty programs and great distributions. There's a lot of brands out there now that are trying to attach your AutoCamp, Airstreams in the wilderness post-COVID. Is it a fad or is it a trend? I don't know. But the point is, there's a lot more hospitality companies, or a lot more companies that are trying to attach hospitality to people's lifestyle. and we're going to be one of those companies as well. We have more to come. Look out for some more brands coming from us. Probably by the time this podcast airs. But
you can go ahead and say it, and
Breaking news.
That way we're on the leading edge.
What we can speak to is like our relationship. We've been able to help, share through traditional media what a race team can do for a brand like Club Wyndham. But as we look into next year, and even a lot that we're doing this year, we've shifted hospitality within the NASCAR space and are just doing things differently and creating that vibe and energy. And I cannot wait to roll into the Daytona 500 next year and show the world how we're bringing the element and feel of NASCAR to hospitality, or the other way around, however we look at it.
Well, I've got to give credit to your all's team, because we have 800,000 owners of our product around the world, and when they go behind the pit wall and meet an Eric Jones, a Jimmy Johnson, a Richard Petty, a John Hunter Nemechek, their hospitality stay in their 4 rooms and bed triples, quadruples, and it's the partnership with Legacy Motor Club, because they care about that hospitality, that's very meaningful. But imagine at Daytona in August when Legacy punches their playoff ticket with a win there.
Man, let's go. I can't wait. Can't wait.
That's going to happen.
It's going to happen. We're knocking on the door.
You got some hot cars right now.
Yes. Well, thank you for your time, Mike.
Good luck to you.
Thank you for your hospitality. This has been so great. He's also hosted us at his home. His wife has cooked for us. Not your traditional partner. We are so thankful to have this relationship.
Has Mike outfitted his backyard like Margaritaville?
Well, the water's a little browner in the house.
I'm coming to your house, brother.
Yeah, he's a brown water lover.
There's some Frank August there.
Yes, great collection of brown water.
Thank you. We appreciate your insight and your time. Mike Brown, CEO of Travel+Leisure. All right, so I just want to start with the fact that you shot 59 once in this golf tournament.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I've ever shot 59 on the front.
That makes 2 of us.
How does it feel to be in that kind of zone?
Well, I love telling people about that. If I played the pro-am on Wednesday that week, and I shot 74, so I shot 4 over par.
Wow.
So I played with Mike Brown, actually the CEO with Wyndham, and I joked with him after the round. I was like, I might have to book a flight home Friday because this is not looking good, And then I got on the range and practiced real hard that night and kind of found something I thought would work. And I bogeyed my first hole on 10, and I was like, oh, gosh, it's going to be one of these weeks. I'm going to have to grind it out and try to stay around par today, maybe shoot 1 or 2 under and see if I can kind of find something on the range afterwards. And lo and behold, I kind of made a long putt on my 3rd hole and then made another one and turned in 4 under. I was like, okay, man, I turned this thing around. We're good. This is nice. And then I shot out on my 6th hole, or my 15th hole, 6th hole in the front 9 here to go to 9 under par through 16 holes. So I had 3 holes left, and I was like, all right. I'd had some chances early in my career to shoot 59, and I kind of let the moment get too big and kind of got my own way a little bit. And I said, that's not doing that this time. We're going to go out on E here. We're going to throw everything we got at it, because who knows if I had another chance again. I ended up making 2 birdies coming down the stretch to do it. So it was really cool, really special. And I tell people all the time that, as great as that day was, my phone's blowing up. I got 1,000 texts like I won the golf tournament. I remember having dinner that night going, I've done nothing yet. This is Thursday. I've got a 4-shot lead, and I've got to finish this thing off. I was like, I don't want to be one of those guys that shoot 59 and didn't win the golf tournament. Like this got way more stressful than I was anticipating. So I was really happy, kind of able to carry it through the rest of the week and end up winning the golf tournament.
That's the element about your sport that's always just intrigued me. We race for 4 or 5 hours on a day. We might have a rain delay and moves to the next day, but to come back 4 days in a row, and every day freaking matters. And oftentimes it's a shot for the win or a shot to make the cut to move on. Like the way you have to dig in day after day after day just is mind-blowing to me.
Yeah, well, I think there's a lot of similarities between what we do and what you do. We view it more as a marathon, right? Like we realize that over the course of 72 holes, you're going to have 9 holes where things don't go your way. Just like I'm sure in a 500-mile race,
that's fair. You're
going to have a section you're going to have a section in that run where you're like, man, things are not going well. We're just trying to survive and hopefully figure something out here and kind of get around some cars who can help us out. So we're in the same mode there. It's just kind of the hardest thing, I think, dealing with it day after day is it does change every day. And so every day is a new experience. Every hole is a new shot. And being able, the guys that are the best at it, the Tiger Woods and the Scotty Schefflers, is that their ability to stay even-keeled through it all and kind of deal with everything that comes with it and feel like they don't change anything to their approach. Every shot's the same. From the hardest thing I think for most young guys out here is trying to up play Thursday morning and realizing, hey, man, that first tee shot off the first hole counts the exact same as that last putt on Sunday. So if you don't have that intensity on Thursday morning and you let Sunday afternoon kind of sway you way too much, you've got to kind of even those things out a little bit.
Almost like stage racing, except they're doing it day to day.
It's the hardest sport.
Yeah, and to sleep on it overnight and to like ice yourself and have to come back and do it again.
The ball's not moving at you.
I feel like the reason why it's so hard is because in every other sport you play, there's so much reaction that happens, right?
Yes.
You don't have time to think about it. It just becomes second nature. In golf, you have, we only concentrate for maybe 6 or 7 minutes around. Really, like 30 seconds before a shot, go hit it and go again. So we have 3 hours and 50 minutes to really think about all the implications of everything we're doing. That's why we're all kind of crazy. If we really sit down and talk to us, we all have a little screw loose.
Throughout your incredible journey on the PGA Tour, what have you learned about the joy of just getting to do it? Because you have been the FedEx Cup champion all the way up to the top, but you've had a lot of challenges as well throughout this journey. How has that evolved for you?
Yeah, it's been great. I was talking to Jimmie last night actually about this. I had a big surgery about 5 years ago and kind of had to take a year away from the sport and get healthy. And it really, in that year I had away from golf, I realized how much I loved it and how much I wanted to be out here and practice. And, the people don't realize, they see us on Thursday through Sunday playing golf. But, for us to do that and be successful, there are so many weeks at home and so much time you put into it to know that when Thursday happens, I'm ready and prepared and go do it. And so when you don't want to do that prep and you don't want to do that work, then you're never going to be able to compete Thursday. So that's where that drive of those guys that are really, really great. I know to be successful in a week or in a month, I've got to go work my tail off for 3 straight weeks at home and put in the time every day, all day long, and do my workouts and my routines and get my body right and get my mind right and put the time in so I know that come Thursday morning I'm ready to go. And that takes passion. If you don't have it, then you're never going to be as successful as some of these guys are, because there's so many guys out here that want to do this that will give everything they can to do it. So if you don't have that passion, even when things are going bad, it's never going to work out great for you.
Everybody out here, anybody that's on the tour is just an incredible talent, incredible player.
Yeah.
Whether they win or not. I mean, you look at Tommy Fleetwood. Tommy Fleetwood's a great freaking golfer.
He's unbelievable.
Never won.
Yeah.
So what is it like? Why do guys like Rory? Why is he able to sustain this? What is Scotty's magic right now?
Scotty's. If I knew that, I wouldn't be sitting here, right?
You wouldn't be talking to us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, I think getting to know Scotty over the last few years and see the way he's an unbelievable competitor. Like, end of the day, anything he does, he's going to compete until he cannot compete anymore.
Just in his DNA.
Just who he is. He will not lose and want to lose in anything he does. Playing ping pong, you name it, he's not going to try to lose. And so I think that carries a lot of weight when you're trying to beat the best players in the world, is realizing, man, I'm going to compete no matter what, no matter how bad I feel like I'm playing, or I'm not giving up today, not a second of it. And he's obviously works extremely hard. He's super talented, right? I mean, he's a freak of nature if you actually stand next to him. He's 6'4", 200 pounds of pure muscle, and he's super athletic. And so people are, I always joke when I see people try to copy Scotty's swing. I'm like, dude, you're not 6'4". You don't have long levers. You don't have unbelievable hand-eye coordination like he does. Like, I wouldn't try to do his footwork if I were you, So those guys are just different. I wish I could explain it to you, but he's able to do the small stuff so much better than everybody else. Of being able to sit there with a 7-iron from 185 yards. And even when he's playing, you're great, be disciplined enough to say, I'm hitting this thing 15 feet left and putting it right there, because I know if I miss this 5 feet right, I'm making bogey. And just constantly do that all day. And it's so hard to do. It's like I tell people with Rory, and this is what – it's like having a Ferrari in the garage and taking your Honda to work. Rory's got a Ferrari in his garage, man. Every shot, he can hit every shot in the book on demand. It is so hard to not want to hit that shot in certain situations. And I think it's what you saw this year with Rory at Augusta, is he finally got the point. Like, man, I don't have to hit the high cut 3-iron to the back right pin on some of these holes. The 4-iron in the middle of the green will do me just as good.
Just fine.
And that's really hard to say, I don't need the Ferrari right now. I need to just do the Honda,
I got 2 things to say to you real quick. That shot on 15 on Sunday,
one
of the greatest golf shots of all time. It was unbelievable. And I'm sure you hit your 7-iron 185, don't you?
Oh, yeah, exactly. I skull it.
7 hybrid, you never
Yeah,
know.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's cool, too, for you specifically in the context of the President's Cup and whomever you guys choose to play on that team, or what Keegan's doing with the Ryder Cup this year. You've done that. Like, you've been that guy. And you've been between the lines against the opponent and have to produce. So there's a certain credibility that comes with that you can lean on in sharing with those guys. And that's just invaluable.
I think it's knowing yourself and how you perform the best, and that's part of your journey as an athlete, is to understand what works for you. And we're sharing moments of getting advice that was this like rosy moment, and like, well, I wish I could think that way, but that's not me. Like, I've got to think of it this way. So it's just part of that journey. I think it's part of an athlete's responsibility to identify with that.
It might be the injury from which you came back, but we're never settled. What was a moment when you feel like you could have settled on this journey, but you just didn't?
Yeah, I mean, when I came back from injury, I've had a great career. My family's taken care of. Like, my life is good. I don't have to do this if I don't want to do it. And I remember I came back the first year after I came back, and I was struggling. I was playing terrible. I felt like I had the yips with my putter. And, man, there were some dark times. There's some really low times where you're like, man, what am I doing? I'm wasting my time. My kids are getting old enough now where they understand what's going on, and they see me struggling this bad. And you're like, golly, man, is this really what I want to do? Is this really worth it? And those are the moments you have to look deep and say, man, I can't let my kids see me give up. I can't let them see that I let something that was so important to me for so long kind of leave me the way it has. And so I was like, I really got to buckle down and, put my nose back to what I know how to do and get back in there and love the journey of going from not playing good to playing good, because I've been there before. We've all been there at some point in our career where things aren't going right. And the best part of those moments is knowing that when you come out of it, how much more appreciative you are of it. And so I really had to just buckle down and say, I'm not going out like this. This is not how I envision this thing going, obviously, but, what else am I going to do? I can either quit and go do something else, which there's no shame in that at all. Obviously, injuries happen, and that's part of your career, but, that's not who I am. Like, I'm not going to go out like this. I want to go work and figure it out, and the only way I knew how to do it was to work my way through it. It was just kind of say, there's no magic sauce here. There's no like, hey, I found this great swing training aid, and all of a sudden all these negative thoughts are gone. It's kind of like you got to work your way back through it and fail a lot more and understand, okay, this is how I used to do it. It's not working anymore. We got to find a new way to do it. Got to find a new way to think through these situations, a new way to handle these situations, and realize that I still have all this experience to draw on, and I still got to use those experiences, but it's going to look a little differently now than it did before.
Do you think your kids' eyes on you gave you a deeper motivation?
For sure, yeah, absolutely. I think we all wish our kids, when you get really successful in a sport, you wish your kids were there to share it with you, right? And can remember it. I joke with my kids all the time. They're like, Dad, we love it when you go play in Hawaii and Maui. I'm like, yeah, I took y'all 7 straight years. Like, we don't remember it at all. I'm like, what do you mean you don't remember it? I dragged you from Maui to Honolulu. We played the Kapalua at the Sony every year. I remember putting car seats in the back of cars and cussing you guys because of how much crap we had to take over there. And they were like, no, I don't remember going there at all. I'm like, golly.
I remember.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, well, I got to get back there, man. I got to get him back there so they can understand what's going on. I got to get him back to seeing me win again. I remember one of my great memories I have in my office here is I won here in 2018, last time I went on tour, and both my kids were there. And I have a great picture of both of them there. But my son was 3 and my daughter was, she was 7.
Yeah.
I barely remember that.
Hard to hang on to that.
Yeah, so I want to get these moments now where they, my daughter's 14, my son's 12, where they can actually experience it with me and see like the highs of the highs and understand that this is why Dad spends 25 weeks a year on the road and he's on the golf course all day practicing. So he has these moments that are really special.
I'm super huge into self-talk and journaling and all of that.
Yeah.
What was your in those really dark moments when it's just not working? What was your self-talk?
Yeah, I try to really lean back on journaling. I try to do that quite a little bit too. Kind of look back because you learn a lot about yourself when you do that kind of stuff. You really do and you realize you grow when you don't think you're growing. If you go back and look at it, even though like things are going to be different. I think the hardest thing for me is I kept trying to be somebody that I was 15 years ago. I kept trying to go back, well, this is how I used to do it. This is how I used to play, and not realizing, hey, man, like Now you're 43 years old. You've had 7 surgeries. Your body's different. You're swinging it different. Like, you can't play golf the way you used to. Like, and when I got really good at this game, I tried to model my game after guys who played like me. So like a David Toms or Steve Stricker or Jim Furyk or those kind of guys. And so then when I came back, I was like, well, I got to remodel how I look at my game now. I'm not hitting it 20 yards further like I used to. I got to kind of remodel how I go about it and think about it, and really try to kind of reevaluate myself and be honest. The hardest thing a lot of times when you're going through that is being honest with yourself. Say, hey, man, this is where you are. This is where we need to get to. Like, you're not who you were 15 years ago, 12 years ago. So it's going to look different, and you got to be open enough to be like, okay, well, how can I improve these little areas to get back to at least where I feel like I can compete, and then have it look differently the new way around,
We had a chat last night about the opportunities he has to coach and mentor and lead others. The elements that you're speaking about around your journey and your process really stuck out to me last night, just how it's one thing to meet young athletes and talk to them, but it's another when you're out there playing with them and have a chance to kind of share these stories firsthand. Yeah. And if you don't mind sharing an example or two, I just found it really interesting last night how, and it even kind of relates back to kids, your kids, when you tell them or try to teach them or parent them, it kind of bounces out. But when you're out there leading by example your journey back to where you want to be as an athlete, they see dad operating in a different way. Yeah. Same thing with the players you're trying to mentor along the way and coach. There's that common thread that pulls through there, and I was really intrigued by that last night.
Yeah, I think for sure, like when you're coaching guys, or if you were a team owner, for example, right, and you hadn't raced before, it's a different conversation you're having with the guys. For sure. And now when you're out there and you're racing with your guys, and you can sit there and say, hey, did you see what happened today on lap 27? You see why I did that? There's a reason behind why I was telling you to do this the last couple of races, because if we do, you can kind of lead them through example of what's going through your mind, so you can help them what's going through their mind. And when I talk to these young guys, a lot of times, I've seen a lot of guys struggle out here is because they think they're not good enough, right? They always think, well, if I'm out here, I got to get better. And it sometimes can help, but most of the time I would say it's a detriment, because you got out of here for a reason. You're obviously really, really good at what you do. So instead of trying to be somebody you're not, how about you lean into who you are and really focus on that? Not try to come out here and change a bunch of stuff. You got out here for a reason. You're really good. Obviously, coach got you out here, your spouse, whoever on your team helped you get to where you are. The biggest fault I see out here probably for these young guys is they all try to get out here and they're like, well, now I'm out here, I got to get really, really good. Like, well, you do, but do it the same way you've been doing it your whole life. Don't change everything just because you got out here. Don't change all your equipment now. Don't change your coach now. Don't do all this other stuff. Just kind of stick with who you are and slowly get better that way. And you'd be surprised how much you'll look back. I mean, I wish somebody told me so early in my career. Like,
I was going to ask you that.
Yeah, if somebody set me down, because don't be like the other guys out here and change a bunch of stuff. You got here because of who you got around you, and just stick with that and just kind of slowly plod along. You'd be surprised how much better you can get. And I did it really well for about 10 years of my career, but then I kind of got into a situation where I wasn't playing as good as I thought I could play, and I started kind of bouncing around a lot, trying to see a bunch of different teachers and kind of doing stuff. And it really cost me in the long run. Looking back on it, I wish I just stuck the plan that I had. And but that's part of growing and learning. And so I try to explain that to these young guys out here, and even my kids, just trying to tell them, hey, like, life, I wish life was a journey if it was just straight up, right? Always going to be successful.
Path.
Yeah, I was like, but it's never like that, right? It's going to be a rocky road. There's going to be some ups. There's going to be way more downs and ups than you think about. All you can ask for is that at the end of the day, that path's going up and it's not going stagnant or down. And so you got to deal. And I feel like, especially kids in this generation, they don't handle failure very well. When we grew up, you failed everything. Like, that's just part of it. And now we try to
face. You knew it. You knew you failed.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's part of it. And so, like, you're going to have to handle it in your life. And whether it's in sports or business or school or anything else you do, you're going to fail. I feel like now today kids, we're afraid of those kids' failings. We're afraid of how they're going to react to it. I'm like, well, I'd rather have my kid fail at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and have me be there to help them through it than have their first field of failure be at 18, 19, 20, 21 when they're away and they're on their own. I was like, at least I know when they're that young and they're failing and I'm helping them through it and helping them through their emotions and that desire to be better than they are at that moment, that it's a teaching moment we can kind of learn together. And I can learn how to help you as I used to tell my kids all the time when they start crying, something go wrong. Like, what are you crying about, man? Come on. Your life is so blessed right now. You have no idea, And I was like, my wife was like, they don't understand anything you're saying. I'm telling them right now that you have to talk to them like as your a 5-year-old self going to be, you know? And so now I realize, okay, yeah, it's going to, you know, I've got to meet them on their level, help them understand why they're feeling the way they do, but it's okay. Like, this is part of life. It's going to happen, you know?
Lainey always says that to me, too, when I'm speaking to my kids, especially my young ones, and especially when they were younger. She's like, they have no idea what you're talking. It is like
Right
use words that they know.
Yeah.
Quit using all these big thesaurus words, sort of like our relationship.
Very
You know,
true.
You before we get you out of here, man, we got to let you run. But you talking about your injury and coming back from it and having to reshape your game made me think about Tiger.
Mm-hmm.
You're somebody that saw how debilitating that back was, that knee was, and how he had to when he got his back fused, he had to completely relearn how to shape shots.
Yeah.
And then he wins the Tour Championship, and then he wins the Masters.
Mm-hmm.
I think most people would not have bet on that,
No.
given how low it got
Yeah.
for him. What was your perspective during that moment for him?
It was, you know, I remember seeing him in Phoenix when he was really struggling with his back, and he was putting balls from 30 yards off the green. People like, he's got the chip yips, he's done. He can't figure it out. And I remember watching that and being like, man, that's just not. I don't think he has the chip yips, man. I think something else is going on. And got to talk to him a little later. He's like, yeah, man, I couldn't sit over a chip shot because my back was had so much nerve damage, and I had so many stingers going down my leg. It hurt to sit in a position. So like, I wanted to get out of it as quick as possible. So I couldn't chip. He got his back fused and started coming back a little bit. And I remember I played with him in Tampa about a month before the Masters that year. And we were in the last group together. And I remember watching him play that day. And I'd obviously played a lot with Tiger in 07, 08, 09 when he was playing great. And I saw the same Tiger to a degree. Now, he wasn't as long, obviously, and he wasn't as dominant with the par fives like he used to be. And probably wasn't putting as great as he did back then. But the iron game was back. His ability to hit shots under pressure was back. And I remember talking to my caddy, and I was like, hey, man, he's back. Like, he's playing the Tiger golf that I saw him play. Now, it's not 40 yards in front of everybody like it used to be, but, like, that guy on Augusta doesn't matter. Like, his ability to shape shots around there, like, he's going to have a chance. I'm telling you right now, he's going to have a chance because what I saw today, he was doing what Tiger used to do and what Scotty Scheffler does all the time is, you know, hitting these high cuts up against the wind in the middle of the green or drawing a ball up against the wind to put it in the right spot and kind of plot your way around a golf course. And especially at Augusta, that's what you have to do. And I was like, he's back. It's unbelievable. I cannot believe I just saw what I saw today. And then sure enough, a month later, he goes on and wins the Masters. And, you know, unfortunately, he kind of has that car accident later, you know, about 16 months later, really debilitated him again. But, you know, he has this unique ability. Like, his work ethic is second to none when it comes to golf. You know, I use the term golf nerd a lot. I love golf nerds because that's what I am. And anybody who loves golf to a certain degree, we're all golf nerds. And you know, his ability to put in the time and the energy to be good at something is unmatched, in my opinion, to get to where he's gotten. And his ability to be mentally strong and to handle the stuff he's had to handle in his career. And I'm just talking about on the golf course stuff, talking about the crowds he had to deal with, talking about the competitors he had to deal with, talking about all the distractions he had in his life. I mean, being the most famous athlete on the planet for 20 years of his career during his prime. And the stuff he had to deal with to be able to play on a Thursday through Sunday was unimaginable to me, you know. And his ability to block all of that out and just get into that moment was unbelievable and something I haven't seen. And Scotty's probably as close as I'll ever see right now. I mean, Scotty has that same ability just to be able to block everything out and just deal with every shot that comes at him. Nothing, I mean, highlighted by getting arrested at the PGA Championship and going out and playing that round of golf.
One of the weirdest days of my life.
Oh, my gosh. I mean, like any of us, we're shooting 80 and, like, I'm done. I'm pulling out. I can't deal with this.
I remember following him. So he shows up at the golf course and gets out at the clubhouse. And I kind of leaned over the security people and I said, you know, Scotty, what comment do you have about what happened to you this morning? And that's when he said, I love you, Marty.
Mm-hmm.
Goes in the clubhouse, puts on his shoes. He's walking to 10 to tee off, and he comes around the corner, and the assemblage is just losing their minds. And then he goes out and shoots 66.
Yeah.
And just watching him work, now he was mentally exhausted because it kind of fell apart later in the weekend, but still just he warmed up in jail.
Yeah. His shoulder was messed up. Like, his shoulder was really messed up from being handcuffed and thrown in the back of that car. And he was out at 266. Just, I mean, that speaks to the competitor in him.
Wow.
You know? So
No idea.
that's the kind of guy he is. And that's like what I don't see anybody else out here that's even on the same wavelength with him like that when it comes to that kind of stuff.
And he's such a great man, too.
He is, man. We're lucky to have him. As I say all the time, I tell people all the time, the game of golf's in a great spot. We're lucky. We got a bunch of great young players who are also, more importantly, great human beings. They're awesome role models for kids to, kind of try to be like. Whether you look at a Jordan Spieth or a Justin Thomas or a Rory or a Scotty, or you name, pick any person we have out here right now.
Like, I know Bryson's not out here, but I would love your perspective on the transformation because, he goes off to live, and I said to him at the PGA Championship, I walked 17 with him one day, and we just were chatting, and I said to him, I think that other than Snoop Dogg, who's gone from Murder Was the Case to Martha Stewart, you might have had the most dramatic brand shift I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Because what was and what is not the same thing.
No, he's really realized where his deficit were when it came to dealing with the media, dealing with fans, and really turned it around. So, you know what, if I'm going to be this guy I want to be and be this ambassador for this sport that I love so much, then I've got to be better. And I've got to really show people what kind of energy, passion I have for this game and what I want to show. But I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to do it differently than everybody else has done it before. And it's been phenomenal to watch. I mean, my son watches his YouTube channel religiously all the time and just cannot get enough of it. And I love the fact that he's bringing people into the game of golf and doing it his own way, but also doing it in a way that he's learned from whatever mistakes he made early on in his career and try to correct them, make it better, and be the person he wants to be, not necessarily the person he was at that point. And that's all you can ask for as a human being and as a man.
Incredible shift.
Yeah, I enjoy being around him so much. Hey, thank you, man.
Great to see you. The best hair in radio, man. It's unbelievable. I can't believe he's got
anywhere.
Yeah, I know. I cannot believe he's got the hat on. I mean, I wouldn't do it. Come on, you gotta let that stuff flow when you're out here. I know the humidity's a little high for you, but you're from here. You can probably.
I'm like you. I'm a ginger. If I'm gonna walk 9 with Johnson while he whacks it around all over the yard, I got to cover up and put on SPF bulletproof. But I want you to know, man, I'm so grateful for you and the tremendous spirit that you have and the way that you treat people and the kindness you've always shown me. It was hard for me when I first came out here and started covering golf and don't know a whole lot of people, and instantly you were so nice to me.
No, you have a natural talent for doing this. And I don't care what sport you cover, you'd be great at it. And it's been fun to have you in the golf world. We stole you from the NASCAR world a little bit.
And he was nervous leaving NASCAR, wondering how he's going to fare in the broader sports world. And I'm like, buddy, you have nothing to worry about. That guy's solid gold.
Yeah, you can make friends with a lamppost. You're going to be just fine.
I can.
I think I've watched him try to do that before.
After a few too many cocktails, I've tried to make some friends with some cars and God knows what. But Brandt, thank you, brother.
Thank you,
buddy.
Always great to see you.
Such a pleasure.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all having me.
The great Brandt Snedeker. Love having conversations with guys like that because when you have been on the mountaintop, and I mean, again, he won the FedEx Cup Championship. He won a lot of golf tournaments, and then when it kind of falls apart for you a little bit and then you have an injury and all of a sudden you're in the headspace where you go, I'm not what I was. I don't know if I'm ever going to get back to what I was. So what is my identity now?
Right.
And you have to make the decision of what you're going to be. And I just love the grit. I love grit.
I'm so glad we were able to pull that out. Last night, just having some drinks at the welcoming party, we got deep into this. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, we tape tomorrow. I wish I had a mic right there on the spot to engage and record that chat because he just has so much perspective on it all and comes from such a real place. And it's not perfect. He's made mistakes and I don't know, just delivers it in such a great way.
He sure does, and always enjoy spending time with him. Thanks so much to Mike Brown and to Jackson for taking time with us, too.
Without a doubt.
I don't have any Ask Jimmie questions in front of me. Obviously, this is a bit of a different podcast. So before we get out of here, I'll just ask you a couple myself. You're in this moment now of leadership, and it's obvious to me that you're such a sponge. You're asking Mike as the leader of a global company. You're asking Brandt as a professional athlete. All of these unique, intimate questions, not just about what they are, but who they are and how they've done this. What are you learning about you through that, through taking that time to ask people that?
Ultimately, at the end of the day, I'm smiling on the inside and enjoying this process because my core self and what has helped me become the man I am today, the father, the husband, the racer, the businessman, it's about relationships. And sure, there are plenty of smarts, skills, tactics, strategy, all these other elements that get pulled into play. But at the end of the day, how you relate to someone and with someone, and how you connect, what you can bring out of the other person is everything. And to spend time with Brandt, with Mike, this journey that I'm on as an owner, engaging with others, the platform this show has provided, and how we dig into our guests and what's going on in their headspace, it just affirms this journey that I'm on, and kind of my own natural instincts and how I want to be as a leader. You know, there certainly is a layer here that I need at times maybe a thicker protective layer and handle some things maybe a little differently. Maybe I'm a little too accessible or a little too approachable or understandable in some moments. But I also think that that element is endearing and helpful and really helps people understand me, and it's been something that I've just kind of always had. But it's been a fun journey to motivate others and to learn from others and see how they do it.
Well, you've always had such a gift. I've said this about you for 20-some years, especially since you achieved fame and you really started to become known beyond the NASCAR garage. You have this gift of making every person in a room you walk in feel like the most important person in the room, because you take time, you listen, you engage in those people, and that's a very rare gift. Most people don't do that or won't do that because it's hard. It takes so much time, it takes so much effort, and you have to be so on if you take that approach. And you've always been so good at it, and you don't know it because it's just what you do, but the empowerment that the other person feels based on that interest. Like, I think about that with Eric, too. I think about that with Combs. I think about that with guys I'm around of acclaim. When you see that, like Tiger, Brandt and I talking about Tiger right there. Seeing him engage in someone else and the way that they change, the way their body posture shifts because he's interested in it, it's noticeable and it's obvious, and there's such an infusion of self-confidence that comes with it that it's a gift. And I've always appreciated that.
Thank you.
About you so much. What are you going to do the rest of the day? Like, what's the rest of your day look like? Are you done here? You going home?
Done here.
Back in the
States?
States?
Back in the States.
Johnson's back in America.
I am. We are back, and really excited about the time that I have planned in this kind of reentry phase. And just to share a bit in what that looks like, tomorrow I jump on the plane and head to Seattle to drive the Blue Blaster.
Oh, yeah.
I get to drive this unlimited hydroplane.
Where I'm from, the Blue Blaster's a whole different thing.
Whole different thing. Oh, the great Bill Muncie. We lost him in, I guess it was probably the 80s. I will be driving the boat that he perished in. His family was near and dear to us and so kind to my father, myself. Just a lot of layers to it. And, gosh, I'll never forget where I was the day I found out that Bill had passed away. He died in Acapulco driving this boat. It blew over, and I believe he was knocked unconscious, and unfortunately by the time the crew got to him, he drowned. And he was Chip Henhauer came into the boat and drove the Atlas Van Lines boat for the Muncie family. Following that, had a great career. He then went on to drive for Bernie Little in the Miss Budweiser boat. And all of this took place, all around the country, but there was always an event in September around my birthday in Mission Bay in San Diego, and we'd always go. And so to see these big, powerful boats race around and have the connection to the Muncie family, I just idolized Bill and dreamt of driving this boat someday. And a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, the family surprised me at an event where I was being honored. The boat was there. Chip Henhauer takes the stage and proposes this incredible opportunity for me to drive the boat, and that is all taking place Friday in Seattle.
Puget Sound?
A big event called Seafair. So I'm not sure the body of water and exactly where it is, but there's a massive event there called Seafair, and kind of the highlight to it all is the unlimited hydroplanes racing around. And I will drive the Atlas boat, and then Chip will be in one of his vintage boats as well, and we're going to do an exhibition.
So are you going to pin it, or are you going to?
Yeah, of course,
Okay,
man. I've got a rip in this thing. And this is pre-jet engine.
How fast do they go? Like, what are we looking at?
God, when I was a kid, I thought they were like 400 miles an hour. So I don't have no clue how fast it really is. But it throws this incredible rooster tail. And the boat that I will be in has one of those Allison aircraft engines in it.
Oh,
so
my.
when you hear those, old bombers ripping by, that's the engine that's in this boat. So I just can't wait to actually sit behind the controls and drive this thing.
All right, send me pictures.
I will.
Grateful for you, brother.
You too, buddy.
What a great time.
Thank
It's
you for
great to
jamming your
spend
schedule
time.
to get here. I know you've been all over the place.
I was in Estonia, and we can discuss that next week. It's far. It's far from the United States of America. It took me 25 or so hours to get there. And then right when I got out at the resort at which we were having Patrick's wedding, I got out of my rental car, and he ran over and gave me this big hug, and he's thanking me. He's the sweetest man ever. I can't believe you came all this way. Come on. And there was an Estonian lady there who was so excited to show the wedding party this dance from, I don't know if you call it indigenous, native, I don't know, dance. And it was like almost like an Estonian Macarena. And she was like doing this and doing this and doing this and doing this. Right out of the rental car. I've been traveling. I've taken 4 airplanes, rental cars, ferry boats, and I get out and I'm kicking my legs like a show dancer.
Only you, buddy.
Only
thanks
me.
for putting the effort in to get here. Thank you to Club Wyndham and this amazing opportunity.
Yeah, and thank you to Jackson. Thank you to Mike. Thank you to Brandt for taking time to share with us. It's what we want to do here at Never Settle. Thank you so much to all of you guys for listening to this and consuming this. Please rate it. Please give us a comment. Let us know what you think. We are growing this thing, and starting in about, let's see, today's the 30th, so maybe 3 weeks, we're completely shifting gears on Never Settle. Jimmie and I will be in studio together. Now that he's back in the United States, I'll be back in Charlotte, and it's going to be wonderful, intimate conversations. We're going to have Andy Roddick coming up on the 18th of August, and we can't wait to spend time with him and a slew of incredibly interesting people as guests, friends of ours, people we admire, and people you admire. So thank y'all. We appreciate it. This is Never Settle. He's Jimmie. I'm Marty.
See you. Peace.
Thanks, guys. Howdy, y'all. Welcome to Never Settle. He's 7-time NASCAR Cup Series champion Jimmie Johnson, a first ballot NASCAR Hall of Famer. I'm Marty Smith from ESPN, and it's time for Clear High, Clear Low, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. So grateful Academy's on board to spend time with us and be a great partner. It is 100,000 degrees outside. Johnson just finished playing the Wyndham Championship Pro-Am here in Greensboro, North Carolina. And thank God Academy Sports and Outdoors has a hydration center, because Johnson needed the noons. He needed the.
I have sweat through my underwear, through my pants, through my shirt. It is sticky out here.
Well, let me tell you something, son. You can go to Academy and get some new underwear.
I need it all.
You can get some water.
You
can get some hydration tablets. Yeah, it's you can get everything at Academy. I love that place, and I'm so grateful that they're on board. So let's get to it. What was your clear high of the week? Moving back to the United States of America.
Yeah, I'll take that. We're only half back. I've got so Lydia and myself are back. Shani and Evie will come shortly. Evie has a few things to finish up on in her equestrian career abroad, and they'll be back. But yeah, coming home was great. Getting into the flow of things, being in the shop. We've had a great time away, but it's time to be back. So excited.
What was the most challenging part? What has proven the most challenging about moving back?
Well, I came back on Sunday. Monday, Lydia needed to go to her favorite place in the world, which is summer camp. She's away at a 10-day summer camp. And I had a great taste of just how tough it is to pack for a child and how buttoned up my wife is. So everything was there. She's like, I need you to go through the list, make sure it all gets in the crate and this and that, and organize it all. She said it'd take 30 minutes. 4 hours later, I'm trying to check off everything, make sure it's right. So just the the re-entry phase and making sure that I had Lydia prepped and ready for camp, and I didn't make a mistake and let Mom down or Lydia down.
All right, so Shani's created a detailed list for you of items.
Yeah.
She would have taken 30 minutes. What were the last couple of items that you couldn't locate that took 4 hours?
I mean, well, in my defense, since we've left, like socks, underwear, all the things for Lydia, I mean, she's 2 years older. So coming to grips with all of that, I'm like, that's not going to fit.
Yep.
This isn't going to fit. Well, I guess I'm going to have to do laundry. And so there was just a scramble of sorts that I underestimated from a time standpoint. If I would have had my Shani brain on, I would have realized and planned better, because I was slightly compromised on time and scrambling and running about to get organized.
It is unbelievable. Mia and Vivian both do sleepaway camps during the summer as well. And you think that it's going to be generally easy. Okay, they give us this list. You need your bug spray.
Yeah.
You need your sunscreen, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But it does end up being a crate as big as that table.
Yeah. And the packing, like I had to unpack it a couple times because I'm like, all right, I have shoes. I need to put socks and shoes. We ran out of space. Like you've got to be really creative in that whole Tetris set.
Are you a good packer for yourself?
I am.
Are you efficient?
I am. I can get a lot into a bag.
So my two colleagues at ESPN, Scott Van Pelt and Stanford Steve, they both think I should do a TED Talk on how I pack.
Interesting.
I haven't checked a bag on an airline in like 7 or 8 years.
Wow.
I have this Yeti rollerboard, and sometimes I'll need 4 or 5 suits, and I'm just very efficient with the way I lay them flat, my folding technique,
No
my
wrinkles?
underwear. I mean, it might be a little wrinkled, but as soon as I get to the
Wearable?
hotel, I hang it up, and I do my pants a unique way. I don't put my pants over a hanger like this.
Right.
I clip my pants to the hanger where they hang all week.
More weight on them?
Yes.
Huh.
And it pulls the wrinkles out. And then your jacket, sometimes you might have a little wrinkle or something, but you just put it in a shower with you and shake it out a little bit. You'll be all good.
Have you tried Downy wrinkle release?
No, plus my suits are so tight that I kind of wear the wrinkles out of them too. What's this
self-admission.
Downy stuff?
Shani has this little spray. It's called wrinkle release, and you literally spray it on your, wrinkle balm of your shirt, and the weight of it, before you know it, it just kind of falls out. Works great. Don't need to
Really?
need the steamer. Don't need to put it in the shower. None of that.
I got to get some of that
Yeah.
immediately.
Sponsor us here on the show.
Come on, Downy. Join
Come
us.
our way, please.
So my clear high of the week was I traveled to Estonia. Our friend Patrick Abrahams married his – look, we both outkicked our coverage too, but Tina, Patrick's wife, is this incredibly kind, thoughtful, stunningly beautiful woman, and she's originally from Estonia. And so they got married over there on this little island that I can't pronounce in Estonia. And so I went Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Dublin, Ireland, Helsinki, Finland, Tallinn, Estonia, flying.
Wow.
Okay, so it was 3 different airplanes. I landed in Tallinn and thought I was there. No. Rented a car at Hertz, drove 2.5 hours to a ferry boat, 30-ish minute, 30 or 40 minute ferry boat ride over, I think, the Baltic Sea, I think. I'm not a geographer.
Couldn't tell you.
I'm not Magellan, which is a great brand at Academy Sports and Outdoors, by the way. You can get great clothing from Magellan, all of your outdoor clothing. And then it was another 30-minute ride in the rental car once we got off the ferry. And then we stayed in this really cool glamping resort. Wedding was out of this world, but it was a long one. It was a traditional ceremony. Tina's father preached in this church. And so it was very special to the family. And
Incredible.
Tina and her sisters are like operatic singers. They're beautiful singers, and they sang all these gorgeous hymns. But there weren't any chairs, though there was a row of chairs on each side, but we let the ladies sit. Chivalry's not dead. No matter what we may think, chivalry's not dead.
Well done.
Gentlemen, continue to teach your sons. Be chivalrous to ladies. It matters. And so by the end of the ceremony, our backs were killing us. Then we go to the reception, which, again, we learned all these native dances, and we square danced, and it was an awesome way to make people speak to each other. And Patrick's vows for Tina were beautiful and vice versa. And then they opened the microphones where anybody that wanted to give a speech or share a comment could. It was like 25 people, including myself. We didn't start dancing until like 12:45 in the morning. And so just a beautiful experience, the energy there and the kindness there and the ability to unplug there was wonderful. And so there for several days, and then I flew home, which was Tallinn, Helsinki, Zurich, Switzerland, Philly. And that took about 23 or 4-ish hours. So, yeah, I don't even know where I am right now.
Well, thank you for being here.
Grateful to be here. And congratulations to Patrick and Tina. They've inspired my life so much with presence. They have such a dynamic presence of being able to be where their feet are and have great gratitude for their lives, just getting up every day and being able to fill their lungs with oxygen. We're all so worried about what's next, what am I, not who am I. And they don't live that way. And it's affected my life deeply, and I try to be more like that. So congratulations to them. I love you both. And it was a wonderful, clear high. And, again, thank you so much to Academy Sports and Outdoors for being on board. We are so thankful.
So thankful.
They were the first people to jump in the deep end with us on Never Settle, and they did it because they love us and they believe in us, and that matters so much to us. So thank you to Academy. Go there. They have everything you could ever want, and Jimmy's going to go there right now as he leaves to head back home to Charlotte and buy some new underwear. Have a great week, guys.